I believe that's it. All right, we're going to get started. Hello, everybody. It's so wonderful to see actual faces. And thanks to all of our members online that are joining us from near and far. I appreciate everybody who's able to come either way. It's just so amazing to see people. So I hope everybody had a chance to see as they're coming in. Washrooms are just across from the front desk if anybody needs to use the facilities. These big windows are so glorious. I'm really enjoying the sunshine coming in. So what our meeting today, it's going to be broken into two parts. And so we're going to have the general business part first, and then the program, and then we'll break, and then we go to tables. I'm not sure yet whether they're going to be in here or in the next room, but we'll know soon. So we're going to go until 2:30 because that's when we need to break for the staff for our changeover. So the first thing I would like to do is to sincerely thank the executive who've worked so hard for us to keep everything running over the last couple of years. I know that we've got lots of executive in the room. Do we have anybody executive on the call? So if you're executive, just stand up so that we can acknowledge and appreciate. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your help, all of the commitments to. I keep. We have meetings, executive meetings, as well as these meetings, so we keep everybody going. The next thing I'd like to do is welcome our new members. So in 2022, so we have 75 members. 75 members for the Guild this year. Form 2 more. Wonderful, thank you. And the new members in 2022, I hope you don't mind me calling out names, but I'm going to. So we have Cindy Cook. Hi, Cindy, welcome. Elaine Cudmore. Hi, Elaine, welcome. Anna Hale. Is Anna on the call? Megan Hart. Hi, Megan. Lori Henry. I think Lori's on the phone. Hi, thanks for coming, Lori. We have Caitlin Merton. Caitlin's on the call as well. Susan Morgan. I don't think that Sue that is there is Susan Morgan. Laura Paquin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies if I'm not. Ann Pennington. Stephanie Sinden. Not sure. Catherine Smith. Hi, Catherine. Diane Weeks. Hi, Diane. And Nancy Whitmore. And Kim Kuttner. Is Kim here? Hi, Kim. And we also have from late last year, Len Adams, who joined the Guild as well. So thank you to all our members that have been with us for a while and members who've recently joined. All right, that's amazing that we have 15 because we're on the call once. Okay, a couple of business items. We did have to cancel the retreat that we were working on organizing. We didn't have enough people that were joined up or who had registered for it. I did want to thank Tammy and Karen for their work in organizing it. They had some fun activities set up for us. And hopefully that will translate into something we can do in the future. There were some spots open at the retreat about the same time that Cherished Pieces is running at the Elmhurst, March 27th to 29th, if people really wanted to retreat but couldn't join ours. The next item that I have is the London Cross Cultural Learner Center. And last month we had the presentation from Catherine, who's one of their directors. And I was thrilled to have her to see the presentation, to see how they operate and who they serve. I know that I'm absolutely thrilled and humbled to be working with this organization. And it's a creative and practical outlet that we can all if you want to participate in. I know that we've talked a lot about it, and some of you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed. They do have a lot of clients they serve. There's absolutely no expectation that we're going to provide for every one of those clients. They are happy to receive whatever we can provide whenever we can provide it. So please don't feel pressured, but if you're able to and would like to participate and donate, that's wonderful. We've had quite a few donations come into the Guild in batting and some fabric, in books and patterns and tools and magazines. Quite a few are going into the library, and Heather set up the library beautifully for us at the back. So make sure that you check out the library. Heather, do you want to speak just for a moment about the library? And Susan, thanks so much for offering to help Heather during the setup. So we're going to ask Linda to come up and talk about some of the things that she's organized for the outreach. Can everybody hear? They can't hear on the screen.
We can hear now.
Okay.
Not able to hear.
Okay, we might have to make.
Can you hear me now? We got
Yes.
clapping. Okay. Now I forget where I was. Oh, okay. So if you'd like to show your quilts before we take them away today, do that. If you've donated blocks, I have 2 blocks that somebody donated, and I'd like to give you a ticket for a draw later on. If you could come to the table and let me know which ones are yours. There are panels there. If you want to add some of your stash to those panels to make a quilt. There's a lot of fat quarters if you want to look through them and see if you want to take any to make a quilt. Also, we have the 50-50 draw where you put a toonie in, and at the end we tally it up and half goes towards the outreach program and someone wins some money. However, we have to have a license first to do this. So you're going to win, whoever wins today, I'm keeping track of who won and how much. And as soon as we have the license and the bank account, you'll get your money. So we're still going to do the draws because it's going to take some time to get this license. But just so you know, we're trying. Is there any questions for me? All right, come and visit me at the table if you're interested. And I think I do have labels for quilt too. That's cool.
Heather, you have to come up and talk about the library again because they couldn't hear. Sorry. Hi, folks.
We have a large library of right now about 120 items, and those include books, tools, and patterns. I think that's it. Anything else? Oh, and lots of magazines. So you're welcome to borrow anything. You may borrow things for until our next meeting, then bring it back and take some other things. So we lend things for a cycle, and we do charge a donation if you keep it for longer. So we charge a small donation of $2 a month if you keep things, decide you want to keep things longer. So that's it.
Thank you. It must be time for a draw. Sort of, almost. We have the facility is putting in a unit for us. We don't have, at this point, we don't have the locker. We do have smaller ones. So we've got some of the things Christian and I put in the locker in another room earlier on, but there's some of the things that didn't fit. So we will have a locker coming up, but we don't have it in place yet. Okay, we have quite a few draw prizes. So we're going to have a couple of draws. The prizes are on the table. 2.
Lots of the people, there's back quarters, completed yardage, there's pattern, going through playing cards. You can come up and choose. The first number is 931213. Up and choose. I think it'd be really nice too. If you win, come up, you can share your name with here. So we've been in person, and none of us, well, you were wearing your name tag, good for you.
I can't find my, I don't know where mine is.
I know where it is. One step ahead of that. So Linda's a step ahead of me. Yeah, I have never made really nice. A 931236. Go. Really, it's not that difficult that I messed this up.
They're all on the table. Yes. Thanks, Angelina. All right. So we have Rachel, our treasurer, is taking registrations for the workshops that we have coming up. Jan, do you want to tell us about the workshops and lectures?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the next workshop we're having is in April. Boy, you get an echo from this, don't you? Woo! And Shannon Fraser is from Montreal. She's award-winning. She had ribbons at QuiltCon 2021. I don't know if she had anything at 2022. She has been recommended very, very strongly by a number of quilters who have done classes with her. She has a pattern that goes with the workshop that she's doing. She designed this workshop for us, but she based it on another workshop that she had, but we made this one personal to the London Guild. It's called Flight Path. That's the name of her pattern. And what she basically will be doing is guiding you through how to deal with her pattern, but then how to make it completely your own, because we all like to be individuals. It should be a lot of fun. It will be on Zoom, as all of our workshops are. And by having them on Zoom, we can have more workshops each year and at a reasonable price. So that's the aim.
Still have our meetings on our meeting date. And still have our meetings on the meeting date.
And meetings are on our meeting date, so that's for everybody. The workshop was always on a Saturday. We did a sort of poll through the executive and said that was fairest to everybody, that people have their jobs and things like that. Shannon is also going to be our speaker at the next guild meeting in April, so she'll be up here. We may have to experiment with a little bit of a mic because she will do Q&A afterwards. And so that will be before the workshop, so you'll get a chance to see her, but don't linger because the workshop registration is open, has been open for a couple of months. There are still spots in Shannon's workshop, and almost immediately after today, it's going to go public, and then we'll send out notices to other guilds around, and probably it will fill up. So go in on the website, check out what's in her workshop, and sign up if you're interested. To give you a heads up, the following month, May, we have Cindy Gustella from the States. You've probably seen her work. She's been on a lot of American quilting shows. She's been published in magazines. She's had at least 2 books out, maybe 3. Very, very colorful personality and quilts. She's really into bold, saturated colors, and she's a very dynamic teacher. She's also going to be our speaker in May at our guild meeting, and she'll have the workshop shortly after that. The topic of that workshop is creating a small quilt from your improv. So the idea is that you create an improv workshop, and then what the workshop is, or the block, and then what the workshop is all about is what do you do with that single improv block? How do you then turn it into a design that focuses on that improv? So how do you add things to a block to put the focus on the block? So it should be very, very interesting. And I'll tell you later about our fall workshops. You want them back?
Thanks, Jan. Linda, when I have on my list that you were going to introduce the long arm volunteers, do you have that list? Okay. So we've been really fortunate. We have quite a number of long armers that have offered to long arm quilts for donation. And Linda's coordinating it. Do we have to buy the pattern for the Shannon on the work for the workshop? Great, thanks, Stephanie. Jan is going to find out from Shannon and get back to us. Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. All right. So we've got some people in the house. So Len Adams, who's new to the guild, he's the quilt mason, and he's offered to long arm quilts for donation for us. Linda Early. Cool. Okay, and Len is providing the batting, so you provide the top and the back, and he'll provide the batting for it. That's awesome. Super. He doesn't do binding. I'm with you there. All right. Linda Early. Linda here or is on the phone? Right. Right. Okay. Tracy Hillman, who's she's already quilted some quilts for us, but she's not here today. And I do some as well. So I've quilted one that Lindsay brought to me. And I have a discount on batting. I don't provide it free. So we all do our own, donate in different ways. So make sure to check out with Linda and with the long armors. And if you aren't able to or don't want to quilt the donation tops, let one of us know. All right. All right, it must be time for another draw. I want the workshop fall workshop tomorrow, and so that's. Mary Beeman has introduced herself for the people online. She had introduced herself and let us know that she won the workshop for Nicholas Ball's workshop she's going to tomorrow. Sure. Wonderful, thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. All right, so in the newsletter and sometimes in a separate email, we've the block of the month program is up and running, and Angeline is coordinating that. And this month is Aquamarine. Aquamarine. Oh, there you go.
I may be able to do the whole year.
But I know that you're still looking for volunteers to
Yes,
do the blocks. Yeah, yeah. Angeline is looking for 4 more people. If you'd like to host one of the months, just let her know.
You're just choosing a traditional block.
Right, so choosing a traditional block and making it modern. All right, and to support the block of the month sewing, we are doing a sew-in on the Thursday evening following the meeting. So the meetings are the second Saturday. Our sew-in calls are 7 o'clock on the Thursday following that. So that's third Thursday. So from 7 o'clock until 8:30 or so. And the emails with those links go out on Tuesday. So if you want to participate in that, please join us. You can work on the block of the month. We usually have a focus topic as well. So you can work on your own project, work on the block of the month, ask questions, and just visit. All right. And now we have show and share. And so we have some in real life, and we have some virtual ones as well. So some of the ones that I've got are actually ones that are here as well. So we need some volunteers to hold some of these up. Okay. I'll see if I can match them to the order of the show, and then we'll have the in real life ones of that. Oh, first of all, Linda, you have to tell us about this guy. Did you bring?
Holidays on the top block is
I mean, and Nora sent this one in. So this is the block of the month that she actually just received yesterday. Not block of the month, sorry. It's the Modern Quilt Guild Make a Friend, Make a Mini quilt that she received. I love all the bees. Pardon? Oh, sorry. Okay. So this is Nora Boyd. Make a Mini from the Modern Quilt Guild. She actually just received yesterday. And I brought mine as well. So my swap partners from Italy, and we both like similar things. We like orange, and this is called Giraffes Rock. And I'm going to try and learn some of these skinny inset strips that are part of that. So have a look at these. I love the technique that she's used here. And then we're over to Lindsay. So that's while I'm up here. This dress for asking if it took about 2.5 weeks to make. It took a couple of days to like glue all of these onto foundation pieces, and then the rest of the week to sew them all down, and then a week to assemble it. The earliest copyright date I could find on these is 2006, and it's on the back of one of these straps somewhere. I've seen kind of similar things before, but actual sewing pattern that is going Myra, and they have like they have actually like these. Fabulous. Other things because they have visual security things. Perfect. Yeah. Am I not too loud? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going to do about the people on the call. So I tried to give this to a coworker of mine answer, like before she died. So it's going to charity now. It's made out of fabric I bought when I was in Alberta, and it's an actual pattern that's long, so it's supposed to be like these were supposed to be like one shape. Can you turn it around and show the people on the this one big? Yeah, I maybe shouldn't have built up to this one. Like it that much, but it's going to the London Cross-Functional Learning Center. And it's by one of the beds. This is actually the back. Front, it started as like a little giant ocean wood swap, which kind of landed in sea fabric, so it's called landed sea. That I added pieces that they looked okay. It's cheap and stuff. It's cheap and stuff.
And that's it for me.
And a fun piece binding on it too.
All the leftover binding, actually, there's a little binding from that quilt. You can tell because there's other just
Perfect. And for people at home, this is the first kit that Elaine has made for it. And we have a number here from Tracy's mom. I need a volunteer to hold this up. So this is a little flannel. Yeah,
So Tracy.
yeah. All of these guys are from the cross cultures. And that's a strippy quilt. Yeah, yeah. And one is one is this one. He's been very busy. More? Got a whole pile to go through here. So those ones were all ones that were from Tracy's mom, Sue. These tops were made by Anna, who's a new member. And we took the, for some of these, that one had the back already attached. And look at this, some fancy stuff in the corner on that one. So Tracy's quilted these for us. So these were unfinished tops that Anna, what she was destashing. And for the next few, we took fabric that had been donated and made them into the backs. Tracy did, and then quilted them.
Tracy just 6 weeks ago.
Yes, yeah. She has. And this one is a beautiful medallion. That's another top that Anna had done. And we used donated fabric for the backing. And then this one is one that Tracy did.
She said she had the top and bottom.
Yeah, yeah. She had the top in the closet for a number of years, and I love the backing on it. So fun. This one is a two-person. So this is one that I just took a layer cake and the blue background and just sliced up the layer cake and into threes and arranged them in different ways. So, and then put some funky backing on it. It's already been washed, so it's already got the crinkly look. And then we have show and share for any other items that people have brought. Who's got more show and share? Bring it up. Bring it up. Oh, the Oldies Village. Wonderful. Okay. So Sandra is telling us that this is one of the quotes for the from the Oldies Village project that we were doing. Sonia put it together.
Linda, it'd be nice for us to see that online. If you stop the PowerPoint, we'd see it better.
Oh, there we go. Stop share. And is that better?
Yes.
Okay. And here's the back. Oops. I'll try not to kill myself here. I love the angles.
Yeah.
That went together beautifully.
Yes. That's gorgeous. Right. Thanks, Sandra. Perfect. $3 years ago?
No.
No?
It was 2020, January, February.
Okay.
And then it all. One that Sandra had was one of the three. This was another one. This one needs the back, which I'm taking home with. Our idea was to experiment with improv and our
Okay,
real
faces, yeah.
color
You come this way so we can show the people.
camera. And the- as you saw, this was the top is done. Brown. And there is a third one. August is the first anniversary of that conference. Just over here, we used to meet as a guild supposedly. And our idea was to take on
Uh, so we'll see a big presentation from all of the three Oldies Village quilts that we made, where they'll be all finished up. We've got some more. I'm going to make you wear the headphones.
This is the from the Carol Lyle Shaw workshop. I changed it into a twin size for donation. And it was my first time using a long arm machine. It was so much fun. I went to Crafty Kennedy. It was fun. Teresa there, she was really good at helping me get it all going, and she stayed with me the whole time. But there's a new shop in St. Thomas, just opened up. She has a long arm machine, and you can rent her machine as well. And I think it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, it's Amara, the same one as Crafty Kennedy's, only it's got, instead of groovy boards, it has a label. So I'm unstashing. These are some quilts that I did a while ago. I'm going to donate. That's a Vargello. You can see I was doing very traditional stuff.
You look at the feet backing.
Yeah. And here's another one. It's not quite a bed size. It's a little smaller. That way. So I've washed them all, so they're ready to go. It's fun to do that one. I'll take the last one. And this one here was quilted by Linda McLaren. And it's bright and colorful, and I love the backing. Circles, lots of circles. And I guess we'll turn it around. What's that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I love the backing. Okay, it's so hard to breathe with these masks on. I have asthma, so it doesn't help.
There we go. They are. All right. There were some more other show and shares in the audience. Bring it on. Don't be shy. It suits.
I would like to say that it's a family affair. I do the top to the bottom. My sister sandwiches them with the batting. Beautiful. And then I have another sister who does binding. So if you have lots of pictures, you get a quilt done.
Yeah.
This is what I took. So
So if you want to go,
it's actually my third. So the first, yeah, I did two that are that's my third.
it's wonderful.
If that suits.
It suits.
Donate.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, excellent. Perfect. Yeah, yeah. Excellent. What's that? I've got pictures of most of those next month. All right. Any other show and shares? Okay, so we've got a few minutes until 2:30 when we're going to have the break to set up the other rooms. We'll have another draw. So we've got two things for you in program this month. So Jan's doing part of it and I'm doing part of it. So I've got a PowerPoint for mine. So I'll do that first so that we can run through it. And Jan's going to give us a brief overview and then we'll break and then we'll work on it with the sewing machine. So with the aquamarine, for the people at home, so this is the stack splice and shuffle method. All right. So this is not new, but I was happy to see that I have Cindy Grisdella's book, and she's got a version of this in it as well. But I've also seen this program or this type of block creation in Carla Alexander's books called Stack the Deck, Stack a New Deck, and Stack, Shuffle, and Slide. So basically I'm starting with 6 fabrics, and I originally cut them for 10 inches because I was trying to make it out of a layer cake, but that didn't really work very well because I occasionally it wasn't quite the 8.5 inches. So I cut them for 11 inches and that works quite well. So I stack the 6 pieces that I've got. And I made a little sketch for how I wanted to do the cut. For this method, you do 1 less cut than the number of fabrics that you have. So I have 6 fabrics. I'm doing 5 cuts. And actually, Nicholas Ball showed us some of this technique as well. So I am doing sort of random cuts. I did use a ruler for these. You don't have to. So I make a cut and pull that away. Make the next cut, pull that away so you don't run your rotary cutter into it. And keep going around until you have all of the fabric sliced up. Now at this point, I do have it on a fabric board so that I can, or like a little design board so that I can keep the orientation the same so that when I'm sewing it together, I don't get confused, even though I still get confused. But anyways, it helps to have it on all the stacks the same way so that you can keep track of it. The next part is the shuffle. And for this, in each of the stacks, so each of the blocks that you're cutting, you start with one stack and you move the one top fabric to the bottom, move to the next stack, take the first 2 from the top, move it to the bottom, move to the next stack, take the top 3, move them to the bottom. So you're just shuffling around and you end up with 1 of each fabric in each of your stacks. If you want to label it, you can find that helpful too. I labeled these in sewing order, which is the reverse from the cutting order. So I've got numbers on these. And so you're creating the first part of the sewn block. You may need to, depending on the angles that you've got, you may need to offset the corner just a little bit. And after that's sewn, you're going to put the next piece on. One of the things that I find works quite well, you could center that next piece on, but for the best use of the fabric and to get the biggest block, if you keep that biggest corner lined up with the edge, so so that you have that biggest corner is going to be part of the block. That biggest part of the wedge is going to be included in what you sew. And I'm just going around and sewing each different piece on. And you may need to trim off as you're going so that you have a straight edge to sew onto. And you end up with a little bit of wonky bits hanging out, which are fine. So from your block of, or from your stack of 6 blocks, you get 6 blocks that are somewhat more than 8.5 inches. So these are 4 sewn together. So if I have 2 stacks, I get 3 blocks. For the quilt as you go, for trimming them, you have another opportunity to make it as wonky as you want. So you can move your, so I've got my rulers, this is a 9.5 inch ruler. I've got little lines with tape set up so that I know where the 8.5 inches is. So you can audition what your block will look like. And all you're looking for here is to make sure that you've got the 8.5 inches entirely under the ruler. So entirely under this part. And then trim just the 2 corners. If you're doing the quilt as you go, and you can leave the other 2 untrimmed so that you have lots of room to hang on to the block. It was all random. So, and they were all angled. So they were all sort of edges, and I wasn't trying to make it exactly as my sketch. So I was just aiming for 6 different bits. And it'll all be, because you're sewing the blocks from the same stacks, they'll all fit together. Yeah, so. And then I didn't bring any of these with me, but I also did some that are using curves instead of straight lines. So I did the same process, but used curved piecing, and these are just freehand curves. And those are the blocks that I ended up with. So I'll be showing this when we get set up for sewing. Be working on some of these. And Jen's going to talk to us about the funky houses. And you get to wear these again.
Okay, I made this quilt about 5 or 6 years ago. I don't have it left anymore for Salvation Armor Christmas bundle for kids. So it's long gone. So I came up with this idea because I live in an old neighborhood. The houses in my neighborhood are anywhere from built in the 1850s to built in 2004. It's got a wide range. And I've always had dogs, so I've always walked in the neighborhood. And over the years, I've looked at all these different houses, and because I have a kind of a wonky imagination, I give them personalities and I give them names. And so I came up with these 9 houses in my neighborhood, and I gave them names like the Hobbit House or the Fix It Up House or Crooked Falling Down House or the Mushroom House or whatever. You know, you just do this one, and basically you're just talking to your dog. So I came up with this idea, and I wanted to make it super, super simple. I do a lot of fusible, and I really enjoy fusible, and fusible is wonderful to work with, but it can be very challenging because you end up with multiple layers and you're quilting through it. I thought this one should be really simple. So the idea was to get shapes that don't overlap. They don't meet. There is absolutely no need to meet. There's absolutely no overlapper, so you're never quilting through more than just the one layer of fusible. And the other thing I wanted to do, because these houses, they are definitely kind of odd looking. So I thought of them in terms of children, and that was the original plan because it was going into a children's Christmas basket. So this is just a scrap. So I was thinking in terms of using incredibly colorful fabric, anything that I could find in the bin at home. And I have a plastic bin that's just left over from children's projects. You know, it can be anything from about a 4-inch square up to almost a fat quarter, and it's full. So that's what I did. So what I came up with when I was talking with Linda, we were trying to think of what's going to happen in March because we didn't know if we're going to be online or together or whatever. So we came up with the Funky House quilt sew along, and I'll demo it after the meeting. And then I also had to redo the pattern because when I make patterns just for myself, I use, you know, something close to hieroglyphics in my notes. You would not understand them. I just put little tiny little, it's like stick-it notes. So I redid it so that it almost makes sense. And it's going to be a project that we'll work on after our meeting today. And if everybody makes a block, there's 9 houses, and there's also 10 or 11 trees, funky trees that go with them. So you can, but they can be put together in any way. You could put 16 together and make a 4x4 layout. You could put 25 together and make a 5x5, or any combination you want. They can be all houses. I had my drawings of my houses and my trees, and then in some cases you can flip them over. This is absolutely a no fit, no trouble, no rules pattern. 3 things we all love. You can do it flipped over, it doesn't matter, as long as you don't do half the house flipped over and the other half the other way, then they really will be funky. So I'll show you a couple of things after when we get to the machines. First of all, how to put them together and how to add some little windows in there with no fusible, and then how to quilt them so that you can then sew them all together. And there's lots of different quilt as you go methods, and I'll be demoing the one that I like to use because that's the one I know how to do. So that's all it is. And everybody got the pattern because I sent it to Linda, and Lindsay put it on the website. So it's there. I said I would return them. I lied.
One of the things that I brought today for everybody who stays and sews is batting bits. So these are all in around 16, 17, 18 inches. Some of them are bigger. So help yourself to doing some quilts as you go, things that you're going to work on to donate. I think it's time for another brew. So is that, let's do all the rest of the, was that 8? Let's do 2 more.
Just feeling generous.
Yay. Good. So do we have questions or anything anybody wants to share? Linda's got. Right? So, yep, so we'll, when they're changing the room over or we're changing here, at 2:45, have a draw, Linda? I'm not sure that we've had a chance to go down and do any of that. So we haven't had a break to do that. Okay. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments, thoughts before we break and go to the next part of the meeting for the sew-in? All right, so for everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to stop the recording, and because we're all going to be moving around and there's going to be chaos, I'm going to close the recorded part of the virtual part of the meeting. So thanks very much for everybody for joining us, and we'll talk to you hopefully at the Thursday sew-in.